Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It's reported that Sunday, April 5th, 2020, Bobby Mitchell of the Washington Redskins and Cleveland Browns died at age 84. And I talked about this months ago. I pointed out the people who'd already died for the Super Bowl, how there will be more people who will die for Super Bowl 54. And months ago, I said, look for dates like April 5th and May 4th, because both dates can be written 5-4. And sure enough, here's a death that most definitely is connected to Super Bowl 54. This is a murder sacrifice ritual, and it's not hard to see why it was a Washington Redskin in light of the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. And they didn't come out and say that this man died from coronavirus, but just notice his name, Bobby Mitchell, has the same numbers as coronavirus, numbers that we keep seeing in celebrity deaths right now that are often blamed on coronavirus. But with regards to him dying on April 5th, a date written 5-4 in the majority of the world, Redskins equals 54. And of course, it was just Super Bowl 54, the Joe Montana Bowl, where Joe Montana's 54. Notice that from the day the Super Bowl was played, February 2nd, remember it was the Super 2 ritual. Told you all why I like the Chiefs to beat the Niners, because all the twos lined up for the Chiefs. Andy Reid got his 222nd career win on 2/2/2020. It was exactly 222 weeks after the Kansas City Royals won the World Series. The Niners had a $222 million payroll. The Niners got their second Super Bowl loss. The Chiefs got their second Super Bowl win and more. But notice that from the date of the Super Bowl to April 5th was 64 days. Remember, huge number. Kansas City Chiefs equals 64, 49ers equals 64, and if you look it up, the Chiefs have now scored 64 points in the 3 Super Bowls they've appeared in. They've had 62 points scored against them, and if you run 49ers in reverse, it equals 62. So the Chiefs have now scored 64 points in Super Bowls and 62 against them, perfectly synced with 49ers, their latest opponent. You can use this knowledge all throughout Super Bowl history and see right through all the scores and what's been going on, because they're all perfect interconnected rituals. But Kansas City Chiefs 64, Native Americans 64. Remember, Super Bowl 54 was exactly 64 weeks after Patrick Mahomes beat Len Dawson's 1964 touchdown passing record. That was the same game where his girlfriend was in attendance with her father, and her father dropped dead in the stands when Mahomes beat Len Dawson's touchdown passing record, considered the Chiefs' greatest quarterback of all time until now, Patrick Mahomes. And then the other thing we've been talking about is the only 3 black quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl are Doug Williams of the Washington Redskins, Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks, from the city named after Chief Seattle, the Native American, where their logo comes from on their helmet, and now the Kansas City Chiefs. All teams with Native symbolism. I feel like the NFL is trying to tell us that, who are the Native Americans? Perhaps there were already black people here, which would make a whole lot of sense, since we all know the story of Christopher Columbus is bullshit, and since the original civilizations of this world that were advanced came out of Africa, who no doubt knew how to sail. So why wouldn't there have already been black people here? Sure they were. They're trying to tell us something. But anyway, Doug Williams is 64 years old right now. Remember, they put the 42 ritual on all 3 of the black quarterbacks as well that won Super Bowls. Doug Williams scored 42 points in his Super Bowl. He had 4 touchdowns in the second quarter for another one. Russell Wilson comes from the 42nd state. He would also lose a Super Bowl, and Tom Brady would become 4-2 in Super Bowls by beating Russell Wilson. And then in the latest Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes aired out the game clock with a long bomb down the field that was his 42nd pass of the game. The mockery. Perfect scripts. Now notice how he wore the number 49, this player who died. He died April 5th, 2020, a date with 49 numerology. Washington equals 49, like Super Bowl, like NFL. The Chiefs just beat the 49ers. When Mahomes was drafted by the Chiefs, Alex Smith was the quarterback of the Chiefs, who came from the 49ers and then who broke his leg by the numbers against the Redskins. If you forget what happened with Alex Smith, go back and check that out. He did it on the 33-year anniversary of Joe Theismann snapping his leg on the exact same spot on the field. Joe Theismann also has a nephew named Alex Smith. So anyway, number 49 of the Redskins dies on the 49 date numerology in tribute to the Super Bowl that just passed, Super Bowl 54, where the date can be written 5-4. Keep in mind, American football is credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp. Scottish is also 49. Their symbol's a capital G surrounded by instruments of geometry. They're showing him making the catch at the goal line, so you get the G in there. Nice little riddle. See how they mentioned this was during 1962? That's the year he joined the league, 1962. Let me see, did I have that in the story? Well, if you look it up, his NFL career began in 1962. And, well, just real quick so you can see, from his birthday back to his death was 62 days. He died 62 days from his birthday, sacrificed 62, Faustian bargain 62. He joined the NFL in 1962. Isn't it sick? And just to go back to the ritual with Alex Smith, well, you got to see this first. So Patrick Mahomes, from his birthday to this man's death, was his 202nd day of his age for Patrick Mahomes, who just won Super Bowl 54. He just beat San Francisco 2-0-2, the 49ers, on the 49 date numerology, his 202nd day of his age. Skull and Bones is also 2-0-2. And remember, when Alex Smith broke his leg, it was on the 322nd day of the year, November 18th, 322, the number of Yale Skull and Bones, and Walter Camp was likely a member of Yale Skull and Bones. He definitely went to Yale. It's not confirmed if he was in Skull and Bones, but there's so many 322 rituals with the NFL that it's very likely. Think about it, even in the film The Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, when the stadium explodes, they show the number 322 in the background. Hines Ward is running down the field, number 86, who finished his real NFL career with 86 touchdowns. The atomic bomb was on August 6, 8-6. That building's essentially nuked. He survives. Anyway, Alex Smith busted his leg on the 322nd day of the year. J.J. Watt, number 99, was on top of him, the guy with the 322 birthday, March 22nd. And notice the man who died, Bobby Mitchell. His name's 223, like 322 in reverse. Skull and Crossbones is 223, the logo of Skull and Bones. 322, the reflection of 223. Again, like I've said a million times before, all of these people are born for the job. They got the right birthday, the right name. They're the perfect crafted piece to be put into the pre-planned and scripted rituals that are professional sports. And for the record, from the day that Alex Smith busted his leg to the day that this Washington Redskins receiver died, because again, Alex Smith was quarterbacking for the Redskins, it was 504 days later. Like 54, like Redskins is 54, like the date can be written 5/4. And then that is also the New Orleans area code, 504. And I just want to remind people that this past year's Super Bowl... Whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Where did I put it at? Here we go. This past year's Super Bowl was in Hard Rock Stadium. And remember, in New Orleans, the 504 area code, Hard Rock Hotel fell apart. And that happened exactly 112 days before the Super Bowl, where Super Bowl's 112, Chiefs is also 112. New Orleans is a big 54 city, too. So NFC team loses, AFC team wins. Saints are in the NFC like the 49ers, the losers. Don't forget it was the first all-red Super Bowl. Red equals 54 in reverse, 27 forwards. The AFC and NFC are now tied at 27 Super Bowls. But with regards to the Skull and Bones thing, the Skull and Bones thing is a ongoing pattern that helped us call the World Series dead on. If you guys aren't part of the Patreon, you missed out huge because a ton of people won a ton of money off the World Series because on September 27th, we were able to successfully project that the Nationals would beat the Astros in Game 7 of the World Series. Said that was a good parlay. A gentleman put $25 on that and mixed in a few UFC fights that looked promising up ahead and turned $25 into over $10,000 because there was astronomical odds of being right about that multi-parlay bet, which he put together all with Gematria. And again, that is the power of this knowledge. Help you see through the lies, can also help you put a few bucks in your pocket. But this is what happened on September 27th. So this is the manager of the Nationals record. Before this game was played on September 27th, he was going to play his 322nd game that day. And we saw that he could stay on 149 losses. This was September 27th, 2019. Right at the end of the MLB season, the Nationals were playing the Cleveland Indians. So Cleveland Indians, Kansas City Chiefs, Washington Redskins, Skull and Bones. Remember, Prescott Bush reportedly stole Geronimo's skull. That's the father of George Herbert Walker Bush. Bush family, Skull and Bones, 322. But when we saw this, we said, this is the easiest riddle ever. Of course the Nationals will win this game, and Dave Martinez will stay on 149 losses in his 322nd game. Well, sure enough, he did. He won, stayed on 149 losses because Skull and Bones is 149. Remember in the film Enemy of the State? Watch that film. You'll see it at 1 hour and 49 minutes. He looks at his watch, and the time is 3:22 at 1 hour and 49 minutes. These numbers come together in rituals, 149 and 322. So, that was an easy thing to call. It was correct. And because all year we'd been tracking Skull and Bones riddles, because George Herbert Walker Bush had just died before the start of the baseball season and he was connected to the Rangers and the Astros, all year we tracked riddles with the Skull and Bones, Astros, Rangers, and then when we saw they did it with the Nationals, we said, that is it. It is Nationals and Astros, and we saw why it looked better for the Nationals. We've been talking about all year why Game 7 is where the World Series would likely go. Boom. It was beautiful. But anyway, again, we're talking about Washington, D.C., Skull and Bones, sports, Native American symbolism, Chiefs, Cleveland Indians. And by the way, from the day that Geronimo died to the day that they did that ritual was 223 days later. Again, 223, the reflection of 322. 223 is the 48th prime. Cleveland's 48. That game was on a date with a life lesson number of 48. And notice the Nationals, this was before the game was played, the Nationals picked up their 48th win on that date over Cleveland. And then the next day, which was a date with a life lesson number of 49, Washington picked up their 49th win. And the day after that, they played on a date with 50 numerology, and they got their 50th win. And all by the numbers. Washington's 49 and 50. And just by the way, a little side topic, Washington State, their birthday is November 11th. This year on November 11th, 2019, it was Monday Night Football, Seahawks, 49ers. Pete Carroll got his 130th win in the regular season on Washington's 130th birthday. It was their 130th birthday, Washington State, November 11th, 2019. And Pete Carroll got his 140th win if you counted the playoffs. He had 10 more wins in the playoffs. All facts. Just like how after he set the record with Seattle, getting his 82nd win in the regular season, he passed Mike Holmgren. The next day, Paul Allen, the owner of the team, died. But anyhow, these are all perfect rituals. All of this stuff is planned and scripted so well, it's just sick. It is just sick. I screwed up here, Truth Seeker. He died 62 days before his 85th birthday. You see how National Football League's 85? What's supposed to be there is this as well. Washington Redskins is 85. His death synced with his 85th birthday. And let's see. His full name, Robert Cornelius Mitchell's 138 like Donald Trump. Remember, Patrick Mahomes went to White House High School, and from his birthday to the day he won the Super Bowl was 138 days. Just like when the Nationals won the World Series in Game 7, it was 138 days after Donald Trump's birthday. See how Nationals is 138, Donald Trump is 138, Federal's 138. Again, the Nationals won the World Series October 30th. Here, I'll just show you right here. Trump's birthday is June 14th, which is the flag's birthday. June 14th, 2019 to Game 7 of the World Series, October 30th. Exactly 138 days after Trump's birthday. And remember, at Daytona, the guy who got to start in the pole position for Daytona that Trump was just at, it was 138 days after his birthday. So, RIP to this man. Sick stuff. No one's going to question his death because he was 84 years old. Don't forget that Masonry, Zionism, Jesuit, United States of America, they all equal 84. But again, no one's going to question this man's death, but no doubt he would have lived longer. Sick, twisted ritual. And pay attention on May 4th, because you'll very likely see another NFL player die in tribute to Super Bowl 54. And there might be more in between then, after then, but just 4-5 and 5-4. I was watching out for this on these dates because it's like this every single year. By the numbers. Till next time, Truth Seeker.